good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Well, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal!
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Just a couple of days after that dramatic end to the game, and Nottingham Forest will be back in action yet again this evening, and we've got live coverage here for you of the Bluebirds' visit to the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. I'm Ashley James. Alongside me, this technical issues at the Ricoh Arena means we're here providing you commentary from Cardiff City Stadium this evening. So fingers crossed everything works our end. John, it was about as dramatic a turnaround as we could have hoped, imagined, envisioned at the weekend, but what a final 20 minutes.
Oh, it was, and of course it has that extra feel-good factor of one of our own, a homegrown boy, scoring 2 goals, and Roy the Rovers stuff. It was a strange game. I thought City, obviously they were thrown off by the change in warm-up. The system changed slightly. I thought the first 10-15 minutes we were okay. We put them on the back foot. We tried to turn them quickly, and then it all got a little bit messy. And I'm not sure quite that the midfield three, was quite the right balance. And that's no criticism of Sam Bowen coming in, and congratulations to him on staking another claim. But yeah, we sort of regrouped, and the last half hour substitutions changed the game. We got a little bit of strobe lighting going on, which is fun. Substitutions changed the game, and yeah, it was dramatic. It was feel good, and everyone went home happy.
We were looking at we were looking at the team before the game of Forest, obviously, and looking at the bench and thinking, well, that's a young bench. And then suddenly Sam Bowen's moved into the starting lineup minutes ahead of the game. Kieran Evans gets a first team appearance off the bench. Ruben Colwell gets his 2 goals, his first goals of many, we hope, in a Cardiff shirt. Yeah. It was an incredibly youthful Cardiff City team by the end of the game, and you're going to get teething problems with that, aren't you? And I think we're going to have to accept games like the opening hour if we want to get the rewards afterwards.
Absolutely. And it is that balancing act. Of course, the aim for every club, particularly in post-COVID times, with the financial reward of getting to the Premiership is promotion, but probably the model of how you do that has changed, and you can't buy your way to promotion now, lest perhaps the few clubs who come down with parachute payments or a very generous owner. So I think we've had to change our model. We've said it for a few years. There are going to be teething problems. Just as an aside, Ash, I remember finishing the pre-match show with you for Forest on Sunday and saying, Leandro Bacuna needs a big game today. He needs to step forward, and then the buzz goes around the press room. Actually, he's out. So I felt particularly good about that. But it gave options, or it gave opportunities to Sam Bowen, who Mick McCarthy has placed a lot of faith in. He's let a summer signing go out on loan because of the way Sam Bowen has presented himself in pre-season and in the fixtures he's played so far, notably that League Cup game against Brighton. Yeah, there are going to be teething problems. Patience is going to be a key. Do you get patience in football? We're all football fans, Ash, and we want everything now. But I like the way this youth development is going. It's something that 2-3 years ago, people thought Cardiff couldn't do. We are doing it now. We're doing it in spades, and we're not just throwing bodies in for body's sake. These young players have quality.
Talking about throwing bodies in who have quality, no surprises then, really, that the starting lineup this evening sees young Ruben Colwell installed in the starting 11. Other than Kieran Evans, it is the team that finished on that 2-1 win at the weekend. So Kiefer Moore starts through the middle, fit enough for a starting spot this evening, flanked by Mark Harris and Ruben Colwell. Will Voss continues in the middle of midfield with Marlon Pack, and we continue with Perry and G at the right back position ahead of Tom Sang. I did say that it will be Kiefer Moore flanked by Mark Harris and Ruben Colwell, or do you see perhaps Ruben operating in that number 10 position where he obviously scored his second goal from?
He did. This conversation you and I were having off camera. I think it will be a 3 to start. I think it's great because you've got that flexibility to change it. Now I've said it's a 3. I'll be wrong as I have been the last few weeks, but I think it's a 3, mainly because I think Cardiff have been playing that 3-4-3 for the majority of the season. They had to, out of necessity, tweak it for the first half against Forest. It didn't work. And obviously reverting back to the traditional formation got the win. So I think Mick McCarthy will say, let's go with what we know. But you've got flexibility there. You've got the ability for Colwell to come deeper and play behind a Harris and a Moore. But I like Colwell. I've seen him in the Under-23s playing from that right-hand side, Ash. And again, I was saying to you, with Ryan Giles, of course, Ryan Giles has been fantastic for Cardiff City, but when Ryan Giles has played, he's tended to play from the right-hand side so he can cut the ball back on his left foot. Maybe Colwell hasn't felt quite so comfortable playing from the left-hand side. He played from the right when he came on against Forest. He got the 2 goals. Coincidence? Maybe so, but perhaps he just feels a bit more comfortable coming from that right-hand side.
I thought we started the game really well, and then they got into it and scored, and they were brimming with confidence for a while. I thought we finished the first half not bad because we had a chance. And I said to the lads at half time, I'm not sure what we're doing is working. I'm going to give you 10. I didn't want to come in and rip what we were doing up, and I said I'd give you 10 minutes and see it. It didn't work, so I did rip it up. We went with a 3-4-3, and Ruben had an instant impact, of course.
If anybody scores a goal, it gives them more confidence. And I don't think it changed how I wanted to play in the game. I just wanted to work hard and do what's best for the team. And if I scored another goal was that, then that's what I needed to do. So I just got my head down and try to forget about it and just keep working hard and try and get another goal. So.
What pleased me as much about that was that we took a short throw. And I've been saying to them, well, we don't have to launch it in the box all the time, and it gets headed out. Be smart, be clever, do something different. And of course they did. Will put a great ball in the box. And we had bodies in the box then, and to attack it. Ruben, not stood outside, he's got in there and scored the goal. So, yeah, I was delighted with that.
It's really good to see, we were speaking in the change room, there's a picture of us with a couple of the coaches and stuff, and we're all of us are in the same sort of team, and there's a couple of us from when we were 12 or whatever, and now we're all playing together in the first team, and it just shows how much hard work and stuff everybody in the club has put in for us to come through. And Bowie making his first start, and Kieran making his debut today, it was my first goal, so there's a lot of firsts today, but it was really good there.
That goal that he scored, the second goal, was TC, my assistant, Terry Connor, written all over it. Took him on the inside, hit it along the floor, don't be blazing over the bar, and TC takes full. Look, he takes credit for getting it, but TC for coaching him and insisting on how he does it. So brilliant.
Cardiff manager Mick McCarthy and man of the moment Ruben Colwell there discussing in the aftermath of that win at Nottingham Forest at the weekend and that dramatic final 20-minute turnaround. This evening though, Coventry City, the opponents, our first visit to the Ricoh Arena, or as John's just rightly prodded me, whatever it's called, it's the Coventry Building Society Arena, the Coventry City's newest stadium. Our first visit there since November 2011 because of various reasons, not being in the same division, and of course the off-field issues that team have faced. We probably shouldn't dwell on the fixture from last season, played at St Andrews, possibly the worst 90 minutes of football I've ever had to commentate on. So we're hoping for an upturn in fortune this evening at a ground where we have a pretty phenomenal record, actually.
Absolutely, Ash, and yeah, just on that point, you always, when you're doing your research for these matches, think, well, what was the corresponding fixture last year? And of course, that immediately flashed up. It was a pretty horrible night for all concerned, including Sean Morrison and Joe Rawls, who I remember had a little bit of a calamity that night. But we tend to do well when we go to this stadium. You know, I remember even back to, you think how many stadiums they have had. I remember a Highfield Road win in 2003 with Gareth Worley scoring in our first season in the Championship after promotion. And you know, Coventry City, they're a decent sized club. They're FA Cup winners in the late 80s. You know, older Cardiff City fans will remember, you know, Dave Bennett, who went there and was so successful. They were in the Premiership, founding members of the Premiership, but it's been a hard sort of 10-15 years for different reasons. Issues with stadiums, issues with owners, when they had money, perhaps spending money badly. So you got to credit the job Mark Robins has done there, because he's solidified the club. He's been playing away from their home ground. Fans have had to travel. He's been operating on not the biggest budget going, and he's managed to get them a couple of promotions. So I take my hat off to Mark Robins, and this will be a very difficult game for Cardiff City this evening.
Cardiff last away win over Coventry came back in 2014-15, actually, in the League Cup. That played at the Sixfield Stadium, the home of Northampton Town. You might remember, you might not. Guido Bergstrom on the score sheet that evening. It's actually the evening that Anthony Pilkington signed for the club. Cardiff, 1 defeat in 7 visits to the Ricoh Arena since we've been visiting there. The last away defeat to Coventry coming back in 2006 with Dele Adebola, Stern John and Dennis Wise on the score sheet, which ages that statistic quite nicely. This evening then, let's look at the Coventry team. You should have that on your screen ahead of you now. There's some recognisable figures in there, not least Simon Moore in goals. Actually 2 former Cardiff goalkeepers on the books and in the matchday squad this evening for Coventry. Simon Moore getting the starting gloves. A back 3, as it has been all season for Mark Robins' men. But if we had to pick on a player, or maybe 2 players in form, Callum O'Hare has been exceptional, not just this season, but was actually quite remarkable for them. First season in the Championship last year for the team back in the division, and him himself. Got 3 goals and 9 assists played as the 10. And Victor Gyökeres, which not that there would be any Swansea fans watching this, but if any Swansea fans did happen to just stumble across this, they'd be amazed, I think, at the start of the season that Gyökeres has had, because he really looks a nifty number 9 at this level.
He does, and you know, as in any walk of life, Ash, maybe you just have to feel wanted, and Coventry went out and spent some decent money on him, and he has started the season well. But O'Hare is the one that you look out for. I think he's one of those players that can find pockets of space. Again, you and I were talking off camera. Coventry are going with 2 centre forwards, 2 good centre forwards, but 2 more, I suppose, physical centre forwards. I do think Waghorn's quite crafty, and I've always liked him wherever he's played. But they're not necessarily going to run in behind. What they are going to do is going to occupy the 3 centre halves for Cardiff City. It's going to be quite a physical battle, I'd imagine. There's going to be quite a lot of, I think, second balls dropping in that no man's land area between our back 3 and Will Vokes and Marlon Pack. And if Cardiff City aren't careful, O'Hare can get in there, Ash, and he can make things happen and get onto those second balls with a quick pass, a shot. He really is, for me, the little bit of magic dust that Coventry have. And I think it's imperative for either Marlon Pack or Will Vokes. And I'm really looking at Will Vokes, who I thought was a little ring rusty on Sunday when he came in. But you know, we know what Will Vokes is about. We know how combative and competitive he can be. I'm kind of looking at Will Vokes to perhaps take responsibility for O'Hare, but certainly he's the danger man for Coventry City.
4 wins on the board already for Coventry, sitting in 8th place in the table. That's enough for a 1-point advantage over the Bluebirds at the moment. So a chance this evening for Cardiff to actually move into 2nd or 3rd place, depending on how results go elsewhere as well. Obviously, as long as the Bluebirds take care of business. So yeah, 4 wins on the board, but when you dig into them a little bit more, 8 similar wins to what Cardiff have in their ranks, and none of them all that impressive, perhaps. But you know, winning games in the Championship is a difficult business, that we know. But they've got home wins over Nottingham Forest and Reading and Middlesbrough at the weekend, which may or may not turn out to be a more impressive win as the season progresses. And then that away win at Blackpool, as Cardiff have on their CV also, and then losses to Barnsley and Queen's Park Rangers.
It tells me, Ash, they're comfortable at home, first and foremost. You know, the defeats, the troubles have come on their travels. So they're obviously enjoying being back at the Rico. As you say, and I did read some of the forum posts this week about Cardiff City. You know, it's glass half full or glass half empty. Yes, perhaps the fixtures have been a little kind. Of course, the sternest test of the season is likely to come on Saturday, or the sternest test of the season so far is likely to come on Saturday against Bournemouth. But you can only play what's in front of you, and I think Mick McCarthy's side have acquitted themselves well enough. I think actually the one game we lost against Bristol City, we played some of our better football of the season. So that's just the law of football, or sod's law, whatever you like to call it. So yeah, Coventry perhaps have beaten teams at home that maybe you would expect them to beat. But you still have to do the job. And we always talk about how difficult the Championship is, that anybody can beat anybody on any given fixture day. So I give credit to Mark Robbins, just as I give credit to Mick McCarthy, how both teams have started the season. Again, I'm not sure it's going to be the most aesthetically pleasing game tonight. Similar sort of formations. I think there's going to be a lot of matching up, a lot of individual battles. Hopefully Cardiff City players can win those individual battles, and that will give us the foothold in the game to go on and win it. But it's going to be a very, very tricky encounter tonight.
And we know how important momentum is in the Championship, and just looking at the Coventry fixtures, they've got Millwall, Peterborough and Luton coming up before Fulham, so they'll really see this as an opportunity to get some wind beneath their wings and get going. And similarly, Cardiff now only four fixtures now until that next break because of the international break. It is really imperative that now, still within touching distance of the top two still, that we start to put some results together and some momentum together.
Well, that was the problem last season, Ash, wasn't it? You know, you forget how the seasons blend into each other. But Neil Harris came in. We had an excellent run. We got to the playoffs, and everyone thought we would kick on. And we just, we would pick up points last season, and then we were just too far behind. We were playing catch up, and that was the phrase you and I used every time when Mick McCarthy took over. We went on a fantastic run with Mick McCarthy, but there was no margin for error because we were just playing catch-up football. And you're absolutely right. The importance this year is to stay in and around that top six. And particularly this side of Christmas, you always look at those runs up to international breaks. A block, review how you got on, another block, etc. Well, the first block was pretty good. Yeah, that Bristol City result put a dampener on it, but it wasn't bad. We started the second block quite well. It's really important for us to kick on. And again, you can't look beyond tonight's game, but Bournemouth is on the horizon on Saturday. That's going to be a very, very tough encounter. Cardiff City would have a little bit more comfort, perhaps, if they'd got a positive result out of this game this evening.
We have back one trend, that's for sure. Cardiff with a win coming out of an international break there at the weekend at Nottingham Forest. And it had been a little while since we've been able to say that. So, this evening's game, Coventry City away, Cardiff with that opportunity to move themselves right back in the playoff places, and we'll have live commentary here on Cardiff City TV with myself and John Donovan. Apologies, the other side of these.
Club Goal of the Month is back, so it's time to choose your favourite goal of August from these 6. This move against Blackpool seemed to have it all. A tackle from Sean Morrison and a great pass from Will Vokes, resulting in a fine cross from Ryan Giles with Kiefer Moore heading home. In early August, youngster Michaela Major netted this fine solo goal to give Cardiff City women their first pre-season win over Cascade. Goal 3 comes from the under-23s, and Chanka Zimba fired home this powerful strike against Peterborough United. The under-18s also faced Peterborough in August, and City number 9, James Crowell, finished off this slick move. Hayden Flint had somewhat of a goal-scoring spree in August, netting 4. Who could forget his very late equaliser against the Posh? And that's goal 5. And finally, a second nomination for the Academy Under-18s. Caleb Hughes with this fine individual effort against the Tigers, and Hughes is goal 6.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Really well. Not an aspect of his game that he's had too much credit for, Josh Murphy, but that was tremendous. He gets City on the front foot. Here's Kiefer Moore into the area. Still going, Kiefer Moore, and there he's the goal. It's his 12th of the season, and Kiefer Moore scores. Credit to Josh Murphy too.
Great goal, isn't it? You're right, you picked it up in Coventry, you know, that's the difference. He gets back. Josh Murphy sets up Kiefer Moore. He's still got a lot to do. A lot to do.
A busy weekend for Cardiff City's teams firstly saw the under-23s travel to Sheffield Wednesday on Friday the 10th of September, where they ran out 3-0 victors. 2 goals from Kieran Evans, including a sublime free kick, and another from Chan Kazimba, saw the Bluebirds build on their impressive start to the season. Next up for the 23s, Sheffield United on Tuesday the 21st of September. The under-18s also travelled north this weekend to take on Wigan Athletic, where they suffered a heavy defeat at the hands of the Lactics. James Kroll on target for City, where they will look to bounce back next time out versus Colchester United. Cardiff City women had yet another impressive victory this weekend, with their second consecutive 4-0 win, putting them at the top of the table. A brace for Phoebe Poole, along with strikes from Danielle Broadhurst and Amy Williams, put Aberystwyth Town to the sword. Next up for Ian Derbyshire's side, TNS. Away on Sunday the 19th of September.
80 years might sound like a pretty long time, but if you're an idea, a dream, a belief, then 80 years is just the beginning.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Roll, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal! Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Welcome to the home of Coventry City, and it's been a long old time since we've been able to say that here in coverage with the Bluebirds. Not visited this particular stadium for near on 10 years, as this club have been kept away from it for various reasons. These two clubs kept apart in the English pyramid system also, as certainly very different fortunes for the two clubs over that previous decade. Cardiff, of course, with our 2 seasons in the Premier League, and outside of that been fortunate enough to be fighting at the top end of the Championship. It's been anything but for Coventry, but they are finally back at a level which seems appropriate for them, and we look forward to this evening's game here between the Bluebirds and the Sky Blues. Thanks for joining us as ever. Ashley James here on commentary, alongside me, John Donovan. John, you were in attendance on Sunday. We've just talked about it beforehand on the pre-match show, and still feels like this club and the fan base are buzzing with excitement from what they saw from young Ruben Colwell at the tail end of that game.
You're absolutely right, Ash. Good evening to you. Good evening, everybody. It was nice to see fans and team in unison as the teams come out for tonight's encounter. But yes, it was feel-good factor. It was players and fans as one. Ruben Colwell really sort of lit the touch paper and had a huge impact and scored a second goal, particularly of great quality. A really good team goal as well, Ash, if you watch the one-touch passing that's involved in that. And at the end of the game, it was very evident. Players and management over with the fans, and everybody seemed to have enjoyed, and it almost seemed like a catalyst moment perhaps. Of course, it could all come crashing down in the next 90 minutes, but hopefully the Bluebirds will take that momentum onto tonight's encounter and register another impressive away win.
Yeah, you're right, it did feel like quite a moment. We've been waiting for it. It had been a string of impressive cameos from Ruben Colwell up until that point. You know, an incredible tale stretching back to February, really. His exploits at club and national level, but it really came to the fore. The Sky Blues then, former Cardiff goalkeeper Simon Moore between the sticks for them. So back three as ever, with Carl McFadden in the captain, anchoring that. A really good ball playing pairing of Jamie Allen and Gustavo Hamer in the middle of the park, and Victor Gokarej up top. For the Bluebirds, other than young Kieran Evans, it is the team that finished the game at Nottingham Forest, so that does mean Ruben Colwell and Mark Harris both start in support of Kiefer Moore. Harris shaking off that shin injury, and Will Voss continues in the middle of the park, with Joe Rolls succumbing to that groin injury in training in the lead up to the Forest game. No real surprises in either team selection, John. Cardiff, it does feel like that is one player short of being Cardiff's best 11.
It does. You and I are in agreement here. I think Joe Rawls would come back into that team, and the way him and Marlon Pack have played, and that's no criticism of Will Vokes. It's just the tandem between